Morrissey is so fucking woke, it's unreal. He published an interview on his website that PJW has extracted some snippets from, and I'm just going to go through a few of them. I literally read like the first 2 or 3. I was like, right, okay, I may as well record a reaction to this because this is just wild, right? On the UK. The UK is a dangerously hateful place now, and I think we need someone to put a stop to the lunacy and to speak for everyone. My God, he's not wrong. He's talking about the Remainers and their rage lashing out at the Brexiteers and all of the other demographics that pretty much fall into place in that same sort of stack. All of those people who essentially believe that, you know, the Lib Dem like Joe Swinson, the UK is fundamentally racist, the British Empire is a bad thing, the Little England of Brexiteers are all xenophobes and hateful and stupid and small-minded, all this sort of, you know, like pouring condescension on their inferiors. There really is a sort of problem with the middle class in this country at the moment, and it's because they feel like they didn't lose the argument. They're very much like the Germans after World War One. You know, well, the German army wasn't defeated on German soil, all right, so we didn't lose the war. Well, at the end of the day, Berlin's still occupied, isn't it? No, it wasn't after World War One, actually. Shouldn't have said that. Damn. On racism, if you call someone a racist in modern Britain, you are telling them that you've run out of words. You're shutting down the debate and running off. The word is meaningless now. Ultimately, everyone prefers their own race. Doesn't this make everyone racist? The people who reduce every conversation down to a matter of race could be said to the most traditionally racist because everything in life is not exclusively a question of race. So why make it so? It's fucking woke. But the thing is, it's not untrue, is it? You know, if you look at any kind of migration into a new country, people tend to migrate with people who came from at least the same country as them. So they share a culture and a language. On diversity and borders, diversity can't possibly be a strength if everyone has ideas that will never correspond. If borders are such terrible things, why did they ever exist in the first place? Borders bring order. I can't see how opposing halal slaughter makes me a racist when I've objected to all forms of animal slaughter all of my life. Well, if borders are such terrible things, then why did they exist in the first place? It's actually not a great argument. There are lots of terrible things that exist because of bad reasons. But borders actually exist for really good reasons, and it's for the security and prosperity of the people living within them. Because it's a lot easier to control a small piece of land, like a nation state, comparatively small, at least unless you're Russia, a relatively small piece of land, and this is why nation states grew as well. But like any borders, really, it's easier to control whatever it is you have the capacity to actually exercise some means of control over and pacify this area, make it tolerable, livable, civilized, make it decent. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to try and contain all of the bad things within a kind of smaller area itself. It's just a simpler way to do it. So even if the rest of the world's a raging inferno of hatred, you've still got a tranquil island of civilization. That's the purpose of a border. And, you know, if the rest of the world wants to become tranquil, civilized islands of peace and prosperity, then what's the problem? You know, maybe on that condition, borders will disappear. They'll be effectively pointless. But we are obviously not at that point at the moment. So, open border lefties, if we've come to this point in the argument and you're like, well, maybe we should do that, I've just turned you into an imperialist. On cultural stagnation, that's the key to modern Britain. Only the mentally castrated are eligible for praise and awards. It's against the law to be intelligent. The dumb have inherited the earth. Because of this, British art's controlled by completely limited possibilities, and the same faces appear everywhere. That is actually interesting, isn't it? How you constantly see the same people working for the BBC doing show after show after show. But yeah, it's interesting that he has such a negative view of affirmative action. On not being invited to sing at the benefit concert for the victims of the Manchester Arena bombing. Jesus. Obviously a Muslim terrorist. Because I do look back in anger. I would have sang World Peace is None of Your Business or Life is a Pigsty or something truthful and meaningful. If my child had been killed at Manchester Arena, I wouldn't be lighting candles and swaying. I'd be in a complete rage. Yeah, but that's only because you think that Muslims are people with agency and make moral decisions in their lives. Like a normal person, in fact. The people who want to just say, well, didn't do nothing is under Islam. They're the people who don't really believe that Islam, the Muslims are people, just so you know. On the Notre Dame fire, let's be realistic, it's arson. Everyone knows that. You can judge it by the speed in which the corporate media rushed to call it an accident, even though the fire had just started and no one was in any position to know anything. Brainwashing. It's a bit like hearing the full reason behind a plane crash, even though the plane has yet to hit the ocean. Well, compelling argument, frankly. And the speed at which they got it sorted as well. So, oh no, quick, we've got to get this done. On Nigel Farage, it's obvious that you'd make a good Prime Minister, if any of us can actually remember what a good Prime Minister is. Good point. I have to say, I saw an article in the Telegraph by Boris earlier, which, though written in flowery and Churchillian language, according to Boris's estimation of it, was at least carrying the right tune. He was at least saying the right things and understood that deal or no deal, we have to leave. This seems to be something that he understands, and he's hyping up to be like our new Battle of Britain, which actually I'm totally fine with, because fuck it, let's do this. I haven't got the fucking flag up there for nothing, man. I've been inspired by the Hong Kong protesters, alright? Yeah, okay, fuck the European Union. Let's fight to the death again then. You know, we'll be 3 for 3, you sons of bitches. Bring it on, Germany! On Brexit, I didn't vote in the referendum, although I can see how there is absolutely nothing attractive about the EU. My view has always been that the result of the referendum must be carried through. Agreed. Even if it literally does not matter how you voted. You have to support the outcome. But if the vote had been to remain, there would be absolutely no question that we would remain. In the interest of true democracy, you cannot argue against the wish of the people. Without the people, nobody in high office gets paid. Fair point. Morrissey, yeah, as Paul points out at the end there, he's become a bit of a pariah because of his refusal not to tell the truth, much like John Cleese has become a pariah now because he's decided to tell the truth. And if anyone else wishes to go out and tell the truth, I encourage them to do so I can make more videos reacting to the things that you've said, because frankly this has been a really genuinely pleasurable thing for me to have to do.